Pro Football Hall of Famer, Howie Long. How are you, Howie?
I'm good, Rich. A little tired, but good. Excited.
I'm sure you are. Please put into words best you can about what this last 2-year run has been like watching Chris do what he's done, Howie.
Well, Rich, really what came to mind last night as I was watching the game unfold, and then, of course, the kind of game dynamic was totally different than the Super Bowl last year, being down, I think 28-3 or. Yep. And at that point thinking I was the worst dad in the world for recommending that he go to New England. It's not like I could help him with his chemistry,
Right.
Any of his homework, but I could certainly tell you which way to go in football. But at that point it didn't look good. But, I saw the confusion pre-snap on Minnesota's first touchdown and went, oh, no. Easy touchdown. Take it down the field, go. The big play on the interception, which seemed to, go forever. And that place just erupted. It was remarkable. And as the game, the clock was winding down and Kyle was down on the field and Diane, Chris's mom, was down on the field, and Megan and Waylon, our grandson. I was thinking back to all those Sunday nights, where you're trying to find a way to, give your son a pep talk after another loss in St. Louis for 8 years, and it was, Rich, I ran out of things to, I was on whatever Instagram trying to find, inspirational quotes. I ran out of New Rockney stuff, Lombardi, you name it. I kind of ran out of it. And it's only fitting that, you'd like to think that good things happen to good people. And as you and I both know, that's not always the case. But you keep hoping. And Chris is an extraordinary example of someone who always does the right thing. Is someone who poured his heart and soul into his 8 years in St. Louis and was, a great teammate and a really great player there. And had some injuries at the end, gets released and ends up with New England and wins a Super Bowl, and now on to Philadelphia, a place where Diane and I both went to school and have a lot of friends. And knowing that Philadelphia area and the kind of fans they have, which it's, each fan base is unique, and Philly's really unique. And it's just so exciting.
Well, I mean, during your comments right there, Howie, we were showing on screen on our television portion of the simulcast just the pictures of your beautiful grandson on your bouncing on your lap.
Rich, he is the grandson thing, Rich. Oh, I have to tell you, I didn't think it, you always hear, and listen, I don't love my grandson any more than I love my sons. But you don't have any of that father-son angst.
Yes, you get to hand him back when it's...
No, but I mean, it's just pure, unadulterated love.
That's awesome.
And it's just so special. And he saw me on the stage and ran over there, and Megan pulled him up to me, and he wanted to sit on my lap, and, he was just happy as a clam.
That's awesome.
And, I read one article today where some writer ripped me for, not being impartial enough. Well, rip away.
Oh, well, look, I mean...
rip away. Hey, let me tell you something. When your son's playing in the NFC Championship game and you're going to be impartial and not root for him, I mean, hey, listen, I have a great deal of respect for Minnesota. A great deal. Anyone who's ever heard me all year long, including last week running up to the game, I remember watching Minnesota on countless occasions on film when Chicago was getting ready to play them, and I'm looking at this defense, I'm saying, pre-snap, how do you figure this out? They're a really, really well-constructed team. And I told their GM that yesterday. I said, you guys look great getting off the bus, man. They're going to be good for a long time. So I had a lot of respect for them, and I knew the task was was really a difficult one. And Nick, whose heart rate I don't think ever gets above 62, Nick Foles, and a head coach who, talk about aggressive play calling.
Yeah. Well, look, Howie, I mean, here's this thing. I mean, if anybody knows you for even a split second, they know that you respect the game, okay? That you know what what it means to play this game and play it at a high level and respect opponents. And, if you're bouncing your grandson on your lap, I mean, who forget about people who wouldn't begrudge you something like that, Howie. I mean, come on now.
People need to get over themselves.
True. Please. So then let's move on to this point about your son, because and look, I'm biased too because I've known you for a long time, and I've known your son too, and Chris, and your whole family. So having Chris on a stage like the Super Bowl for the next 2 weeks is, to me, for somebody who covers the sport and wants it to succeed in every way possible, it's monumental, because I know he's going to use this platform for the right reasons, which is obviously not to just win the game, but it is to talk about other issues. As a matter of fact, I don't know if you saw on social media at all, he retweeted the NFL shop that tweeted out a T-shirt of the dog masks saying, hey, go get your T-shirts here. He retweeted that saying, are you going to donate the funds? Like you should, essentially.
Well, see, Rich, that's the thing. It's one thing to talk the talk, but to walk the walk, and I mean really walk the walk. I mean, where you take nothing. He just gives and gives and gives.
When did you first learn that he was going to do that?
Oh, he was an old soul at a young age, and I remember one night, because he knows I'm a late worker. I work late. I'm not an early person, but I'm a late person. I watch film late, and it was third year maybe in St. Louis, and he called me at about, it had to be 12:31 in the morning, and he just wanted his life to have purpose and wanted it to be impactful, and beyond the football and playing in the NFL, he just wanted to do something. He just kind of felt like he wasn't contributing enough. And, although in college he was big brothers, and, he was a big brother to a challenge and did countless things there at the University of Virginia, and was doing things, with what he called Joel's Heroes in St. Louis at the time, where he'd bring 20, 25, 30 inner city kids to a game every week. And, I'm thinking to myself, what 24-year-old is, he's the only guy I know. I think at 15 he had a bucket list. I mean, who does that, Rich? And I've said this many times, you as parents, we try to teach, and you and your wife are doing the same thing, and every parent out there is trying to do that, and you try to live a life that your kids will hopefully respect and want to emulate. And if you're really, really fortunate, and God, we're fortunate, it comes full circle, and your son ends up teaching, inspiring you. It's pretty remarkable.
And so when he calls you and says, Dad, I'm going to end up donating my entire salary?
Wait, I said, whoa, the whole thing? But you have to understand, though, Rich, I made $38,000 my rookie year. My check was, after taxes, I drove a used Coupe de Ville. It was in Oakland, California, and I was on top of the world. And my check after taxes was just a skosh over $1,000. But he's been very fortunate to play in a time when players are being compensated the way they should be compensated, and he's someone who's always been mindful of taking care of his money. So he's fortunate to be in a position to do that and to do those kinds of things. And Kyle is also very supportive and has built a well himself. Terry Bradshaw, one day just on the set, you know what? I'm going to build me one of those wells. I'll take one. $45,000.
Awesome.
I mean, he inspires the people around him, and he's so genuine. He's someone that, not just from a football standpoint you want on your football team, but he challenges everyone to raise the level of all aspects of their life.
Yeah, you're talking about Waterboys again, waterboys.org to learn more on that. Howie, before I let you go, apropos of none of what we've just discussed, in hour number 3 of my show, I have the actor Dolph Lundgren coming into studio. So we decided...
love the big rematch with his son. In the new Rocky.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, it's big, huge.
So we wanted to bring up, you read our poll question of the day to Howie Long, Chris Brock.
Yeah, Howie, here's our poll question today. Who's got the best action movie, Flat Top? You, Dolph Lundgren, or we added Val Kilmer also.
What do you think, Howie?
I'm trying to think of when did Val have...
Top Gun. Top Gun.
Oh, I got you. That goes way back. I just saw him in a kind of an offbeat the Snowman murder mystery movie with Dolph Lundgren, and he was kind of
okay.
They had him all made up to the point where you couldn't recognize him. I don't think, but hey, listen, Rocky. Are you kidding me?
Okay.
Going to fight and the training in Siberia and the shack and. He's breaking all the machines, and I rode an elevator with him once. Seems like a really sharp guy, he's a smart guy.
He's a chemical engineer. He went to MIT long before Good Will Hunting. So yeah. Okay, so you're going to give him the flat top and
and plus it was about 2-3 inches higher than mine.
Okay.
Well, Howie, you're winning the poll.
Mine was high and was low and tight.
Okay. Yeah, you're winning the poll right now.
You're winning right now, Howie. So congratulations.
Wow, that's very nice of the folks out there. But Dolph is
okay. No, look, hey, the Long family's on a roll, Howie. NFC Championship team, 2 Super Bowls in a row for Chris, and Howie Long's got winning the Rich Eisen poll for best.
Now I'm trying to find a jacket that's warm enough to.
Yeah, exactly.
Minneapolis.
Hey, look, I look forward to seeing you and your family out there.
I look forward to it, partner.
Okay. Thanks again for the call,
guys.
Howie. Congrats again.
See you, Howie.
Howie Long, everybody. Pro Football Hall of Famer.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on Audience.